Hey, good evening.
Hi, everyone. Oh boy.
Good to have you here. Thanks for coming out again. So we are Keith and Becky, and we're back for another concert from home. And as you, I think, probably all know, this is our special requests concert. So for the last couple of weeks, we have been getting taking requests from people, and so we've compiled, a list of some of the top the top results, and it wasn't completely mathematical, but more or less, and so we're looking forward to this. I should say, warn you in advance. We're not going to get to all of the requests, and as hard as that is for us. But we have kept track of them, and we will try to make it up to you all somehow, in some way. We'll pay off your student loans or something if we don't play your piece. We'll do something for you, and we'll. But even so, we'll run just like a tiny bit longer for this concert, just as I say, because we're going to try to squeeze in as many as we possibly can. So. We're going to start off with this one. This was a song a few people asked for, and it's an arrangement that includes a tune as well, which some people also asked for. So we thought, well, great. This is two birds with one stone. How can we not do this particular one? And we won't necessarily identify everything as it goes by, because at least somebody out there would have asked for each piece, so someone should know what it is we're playing. So we're encouraging you to be participatory in the comments box, and along that vein, and I mentioned this in an email, we are encouraging you, in our last concerts, we got some lovely little videos and photos after the fact of people dancing to our concert, or singing, or even just some shots of them with our concert playing in the background. And that was so lovely, we thought, well, if we solicit some of those, we might create a little video. So if you're singing along at any point, or dancing along, or even playing along, if you've got an instrument nearby and you want to jam, and believe me, we do not say that very often in our concerts, so this is a rare opportunity. You could take a little video of yourself if you want, if it's something you want to share, and maybe we'll get around to making a little composite video. Here we go, a little song from the shape note tradition. Lovely social band who walked the way to Canaan's land, ye who have fled from Sodom's plain, say, do you wish to turn again? Oh, and have you ventured to the field, well-armed, helmet, sword, and shield? And shall the world with dread alarms compel you now to ground your arms? Oh, and have you ventured to the field, well-armed, helmet, sword, and shield? Shall the world with dread alarms compel you now to ground your arms? Fires fill the sky from whence you came, and brimstone in a driving rain blows ash and dust upon your heels, while you in haste to safety steal. Oh, and have you ventured to the field, well-armed, helmet, sword, and shield? Shall the world with dread alarms compel you now to ground your arms? Oh, and have you ventured to the field, well-armed, helmet, sword, and shield? Shall the world with dread alarms compel you now to ground your arms? right, that was Climbin Up. So I just have to lean forward. All right, I'm worried that I'm getting some error message, but I think it's okay. One of these little distractions you have to contend with. So that was Climbin Up, song from my first solo recording, Bound for Canaan. So we got a bunch of requests for some things that we used to do with Nightingale. Nightingale was a trio that we played as part of with Jeremiah McLean. And we had a lot of good years of some really good music. And so, as I say, a bunch of people asked for some Nightingale things. And, I guess Paul McCartney gets asked to play Beatles songs a lot still. So the problem for us was that a lot of those Nightingale pieces, they were, those are like pretty tightly woven, integrated pieces with the three of us. And not always easy for us to kind of pull off in just the two of us. But we have a couple of songs that we think we can do that with. And so this is one of them. One of the saddest songs, I think, that I know, and I sing a lot of sad songs, and it's not that one, and it's not that one that you're thinking of either. It's this one. And we got requests for this song from two sides of the continent. We had requests for this from California and from Newfoundland. So we're very happy to send this out to our dear friends Ted and Cheryl in St. John's, Newfoundland, and Dan and Joyce out there in California. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Ma Jolie, how do you do? Mon nom est Jean-Guy Thibault-Leroux. I come from east of Gatineau. Mon nom est Jean-Guy, ma jolie. J'ai une maison à la fontaine where we can live if you marry me. Une belle maison à la fontaine where we will live, you and me. Whoa, oh, Louise, my Jolie Louise, my Jolie Louise. Tous les matins au soleil, I will work till work is done. Les matins au soleil, I did work till work was done. And then one day, the foreman, he said, Jean-Guy, we must let you go. Et puis mon nom, il est pas bon at the mill anymore. Whoa, oh, kids are small, 4 and 3. Et la bouteille, she's mon amie. I drink the rum till I can't see. It hides the shame Louise does not see. The carousel turns in my head, and I can't hide. Whoa, whoa, no. And the rage turns in my head, and Louise, I struck her down, down on the ground. Ma Jolie Louise. 63. The kids are gone, and so is Louise. Ontario they did go, near La Ville de Toronto, and the tears they rolled down to les jours. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And I remember the days and the promises that we made. Whoa, whoa, Louise, my Jolie Louise, my Jolie Louise. Oh, Louise, my Jolie Louise, my Jolie Louise. Oh, Louise, my Jolie Louise, my Jolie Louise. Jolie Louise, a song from Danielle Lanois.
So, and our next set goes out to a friend of mine that I have known for 35 years. We started to teach together way back then, math in Portland, Maine, and we became roommates, and we started playing tunes together. There was a big old upright piano in the house, so this goes out to Susan Jansen Creighton, and so glad we can play this for you.
I don't know, did you mention that was from your album Evergreen?
I didn't. It was amazing. There were quite a few requests from Evergreen. It was sort of heartening to see those roll in. So we have a couple more from Evergreen.
So I said, so we've been getting most of our requests over the course of the past couple of weeks. Can I have a sip of that water also?
Yes.
Thank you. This is the glass. That is the glass that we used for our foot test. Did you see our foot vibration test, trying to find the right place for the camera? That was the actual glass that we used.
Same water.
So most of the requests have come in the past 2 weeks. This song has been requested by this particular person for about the past 10 years. Sorry, I wasn't sure where that came from. So this was a song that our good friend, yes, Karen Axelrod has been waiting for many, many years, hoping for us to sing this song. And every time she's asked, we've always had a reason. Now, in fairness, she's often asked for this song at like family camps. Can you have a look at see if that's simple?
See if I can get rid of it.
No. Okay. No, forget it. Sorry. All right. Just give us a second here. I don't know why that's coming in. All right. Sorry, folks. Thought we'd turned off messages. Karen. Oh yes. What was I saying? Karen used to ask for this song at family camp, right? We'd have these little gatherings, with young children, and she would ask for this song, which is about a boy dying at sea and being tossed off the side of a ship. Now, really, was that the right thing to do? So we've postponed it, and we've come to the end of our rope. We can't postpone it anymore. So now tonight, right now, do we have time for this actually? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we can squeeze this in, a song for Karen Axelrod. If you don't know who Karen is, a wonderful musician, great piano player, accordion player.
Look her up.
Yes, look her up. All right, let's get this out of the way. Well, bury me not in the deep, deep sea. These words came slow and faintly from the pallid lips of a youth who lay in his cabin bunk at the close of day. Oh, bury me not in the deep, deep sea, where the cold dark waves will swallow me, where no light shall break through the darkening waves, and no sunbeam find my silent grave. He mourned and pined till o'er his brow death's shades had slowly crept there now. He wished his home and his loved ones nigh, as the sailors gathered to see him die. Oh, bury me none, his voice failed there. They paid no heed to his dying prayer. They lowered him down o'er the ship's dark side, and above him closed the dismal tide. He bore no costly winding sheet to wrap around his head or feet. They deep sea, far from the shore. A girl on shore, many tears will shed for the one who lies on the ocean bed. Above his heart the whale will hiss, and his pallid lips the fish will kiss. Bury me not. Beck, will you just check your phone?
My phone is fine.
We're a little we're a little gun shy, because as some of you will know, in our last concert we were streaming from Becky's from our band page on Facebook, and 3/4 of the way into the concert we were shut down for some reason still unknown to us, and so we're a little jumpy about something going wrong again, and that's also part of the reason why we've kind of tried to make a point of streaming on both YouTube and Becky's personal Facebook page this time. So anyway, apologies for any distractions. I was going to say, just bury me not. One of the associations that we have with that song is recording that in Quebec on the Nightingale album, Sometimes When the Moon is High. And that was such a great experience working with the incredible musician, engineer, producer Gray Larson. And so hello to Gray out there in Bloomington, along with Cindy, and also a man who was kind of a big presence around the studio for us there, a dear friend, a hero, a legend in Quebec music, Andre Marchand, who just recently touched base with us on Facebook. So big, sending thoughts of love in those directions, north and west. So, and speaking of Quebec, we're going to do another. We're going to do a song actually from Quebec that is connected to some more dear friends. A song that I learned from Guy Bouchard, and we've been in touch with Guy and Laura, who are now living out on the Gaspé Peninsula. So this song is partly for you and also for a couple of other people who've asked for it. It's an old French Canadian song
for Bruce Rosen and Emma Morrow as well.
C'est aujourd'hui grand fête, on prend le bien d'un coup. C'est aujourd'hui grand fête, on prend le bien d'un coup. D'avoir une maîtresse qui boit de ce bon vin le soir et le matin. D'avoir une maîtresse qui boit de ce bon vin le soir et le matin. Allons se promener avec celle qu'on aime. Allons se promener avec celle qu'on aime. On s'assoit sur la bête pour écouter chanter le rossillon d'été. On s'assoit sur la bête pour écouter chanter le rossillon d'été. Ce joli chant d'oiseau nous invite là. Jolie chante, oiseaux nous invite là-bas. À parler d'un bourrette, allons petit verre, il y a rien d'aussi beau. À parler d'un bourrette, allons petit verre, il y a rien d'aussi beau. À quoi penses-tu donc que tu penses au mariage? À quoi penses-tu donc que tu penses au mariage? Tu pas pendu une femme pour être ton support, mais tu te feras tort. Tu pas pendu une femme pour être ton support, mais tu te feras tort. All right.
I was wondering if anyone was translating out there. We've had some interesting experiences with translations. So now we're going to play a tune. The definition of the title means to move about a lot. So we are not peregrinating very much these days. So the tune is called Peregrination. It goes out to Errol and Karen and Robert. And birthday greetings to Karen. Big fans. We're really happy to be able to play this tune on your birthday.
Peregrination up-tempo waltz there. All right, so if you came a little late, you might have missed this invitation from earlier on. I mentioned how in our recent concerts we got some very lovely little videos from friends who were dancing along, singing along, or just eating along, drinking along, whatever form of participation. It was lovely to kind of get those, and so I thought, well, we could invite people, if you're doing one of those things, if you want to share those with us again, you could send them, whether you're singing or dancing, or if you have an instrument and you're jamming along. You could send us a little video clip, not very long, and if we got our act together, we might try to put those together into a little video compilation. That might be kind of a fun thing. So
this is a good one for that.
So a big part of our summer schedule for many, many years together was working and playing at the Country Dance and Song Society, CDSS's summer camps, in particular the Family Weeks. We did a long stretch of Family Weeks at both Pinewoods and Ogons. And like all of these events, the Family Weeks, they were just such beautiful, wonderful events. It's so sad that that as far as I know the Pinewoods is not happening. I'm not sure if Ogons is confirmed at this point, but it's tragic that this is another one of the events that is potentially affected by the crisis. But one of the beautiful moments in the week was the last day. There was often like a big sharing of everything that people had learned, and it was very, very celebratory. And somewhere along the way, we started this little tradition at mealtime on that last night of doing this song. And it became a great sort of sing-along. And just remembering all those groups of people sitting out at these large tables, sharing their meals together, and having danced together and sung together, and then having this song. So whether you're at home alone or with your partner or with your family, I hope you join in. Seriously, straighten up and dig in for this one. It's a little song in French, and it's Aux Champs-Élysées. Some of the words are Aux Champs-Élysées, aux Champs-Élysées, au soleil, sous la pluie, so in the sun and in the rain, à midi ou à minuit, at noon or at midnight, il y a tout ce que vous voulez. Il y a tout ce que vous voulez. There's everything you could possibly want. Aux Champs-Élysées. So, I'm serious about this. If you have to run and get a glass of red wine, whatever it takes. Aux Champs-Élysées. Aux Champs-Élysées. Au soleil, sous la pluie, à midi ou à minuit, il y a tout ce que vous voulez aux Champs-Élysées. Je me baladais sur l'avenue, le cœur ouvert vers l'inconnu. J'avais envie de dire bonjour à n'importe qui, et ce fut toi. Je t'ai dit n'importe quoi, il suffisait de te parler pour t'apprivoiser. Oh, 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 Champs-Élysées. Oh, Champs-Élysées, au soleil, sous la pluie, à midi ou à minuit, il y a tout ce que vous voulez aux Champs-Élysées. Et tu m'as dit, j'ai rendez-vous dans un sous-sol avec des fous qui vivent la guitare à la main du soir au matin. Alors je t'ai accompagné, on a chanté, on a dansé, et l'on n'a même pas pensé à s'embrasser. Oh, 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 Champs-Élysées. Aux Champs-Élysées, au soleil, sous la pluie, à midi ou à minuit, il y a tout ce que vous voulez aux Champs-Élysées. So that's for toutes les familles d'Ogons, c'est Pinewoods, la famille Kruskell, la famille Barbour, all the families. Hier soir, deux inconnus, et ce matin sur l'avenue, deux amoureux tout étourdis par l'ennui. Et de l'étoile à la concorde, un orchestre à mi-corps, et tous les oiseaux de point de jour chantent l'amour. Oh, 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 Champs-Élysées. Oh, Champs-Élysées, au soleil, sous la pluie, à midi ou à minuit, il y a tout ce que vous voulez. Aux Champs-Élysées, oh, 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 Champs-Élysées. Oh, Champs-Élysées. Au soleil, sous la pluie, à midi ou à minuit, il y a tout ce que vous voulez. Aux Champs-Élysées, oh, 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 Champs-Élysées. Oh, Champs-Élysées, au soleil, sous la pluie, à midi ou à minuit, il y a tout ce que vous voulez. Aux Champs-Élysées, il y a tout ce que vous voulez. Aux Champs-Élysées. All right, maybe sing that sometime again.
So, it was like when we were making one of our little videos for one of our last concerts, we played this next tune, and Phyllis wrote in saying, "Oh, other people are going to ask for this for Hapavesi now that you've played it," and it was true. So we're now going to play tune of Keith's that he wrote quite a number of years ago from a trip to Hapavesi, Finland, in the middle of summer, where he was playing for a festival in the middle of summer where it just never got dark at all.
Okay, well, if you're waltzing to that one, I hope you didn't trip over any furniture around the house. Um,
Just speaking of the waltzing, it reminds me that Keith and I are going to do a waltz at home benefit for our Grange, our local Guiding Star Grange, on May 29th. So keep that bee in your bonnet for the future. And now Keith is going to take over.
I'll do one song on my. You can maybe like check in on Control Central and make sure all the systems are, all the pistons are firing. Yeah, I was thinking like in the old days when we were actually traveling around to do gigs, like your big concern was, do we have directions to get to the hall, and do we know where we're going to eat that night? Do we have a plan on where we're going to stay? And now we don't have to worry about any of those things. We're just thinking, should we get that extension software? Where's the dialog box for the advanced settings to reconfigure the video output? That's what we have to contend with now. But we are delighted to be able to do these concerts. And it really has been just wonderful getting to connect with people around them, beforehand, and in your comments and your messages after the fact. So I'll do this song. We had several requests for this one. It's a song that I've done in my solo show for a few years, and the song itself is just an amazing song. It's been covered by a lot of different people, a lot of great versions of it. But I couldn't resist the temptation to do it myself. A song from Richard Thompson called Beeswing. Well, I was just 19 when I came to town. They called it the summer of love. They were burning babies and burning flags. It was the hawks against the doves. And I took a job at the steaming down on Cauldron Street. And I fell in love with a factory girl. She was working next to me. She was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing. So fine a breath of wind might blow her away. She was a lost child, and she was running wild. She said, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. And you wouldn't want me any other way. Brown hair zigzag around her face, and a look of half surprise. Like a fox caught in the headlights, there was animal in her eyes. And she said, young man, oh can't you see, I'm not the factory kind. And if you don't take me out of here, I'll surely lose my mind. She was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing. So fine a breath of wind might blow her away. She was a lost child, and she was running wild. She said, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. You wouldn't want me any other way. Well, we bust around the market towns, and we picked fruit down in Kent. We could tinker lamps and pots and knives wherever we went. And I said, you know, we could settle down and get a few acres dug, a fire in the hearth, and babies face on the rug. And she said, young man, you foolish man, that surely sounds like hell. You might be lord of half the world, but you won't own me as well. She was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing. So fine a breath of wind might blow her away. She was a lost child, and she was running wild. She said, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. You wouldn't want me any other way. Well, we was working down the Gower, and the work was pretty good. But she thought maybe we shouldn't wait for the frost, and I thought maybe we should. And we was drinking more in those days. Tempers reached a pitch, and like a fool I let her go, all with a rambling itch. She was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing. So fine a breath of wind might blow her away. She was a lost child, and she was running wild. She said, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. You wouldn't want me any other way. Well, the last I heard, she was sleeping rough down on the Derby beat. A white horse in her pocket and a wolfhound at her feet. And they say she even married once a man named Roney Brown, but even a gypsy caravan was too much settling down. And they say her flower is faded now, hard weather and hard booze, but maybe that's just the price you pay for the change that you refuse. She was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, and I miss her more than words could ever say. And if I could just taste some of her wildness now, if I could hold her in my arms today, I wouldn't want her any other way. Everything good?
Everything's good. It's all happening. So when I first met Keith, he was living in Toronto, and there were a bunch of musicians that he played with up there, and they contacted us and wanted this next set. So this goes out to a bunch of
Karen, Jean, the whole gang.
Yeah.
All of you guys up there.
Toronto folks.
This is another set from Becky's album Evergreen. hope you enjoyed that one. So for a chunk of time, I would make trips to Seattle. There was a period of time when I was doing a bunch of playing with some great musicians there. Ruthie Dornfeld, the amazing fiddle player, still out there in Seattle. And on a couple of those trips out there, I had the very good fortune to go with Ruthie and play at a restaurant that was a tremendous home and a very welcoming place for a lot of musicians. And it was the Swingside Cafe run by Brad. And Brad reached out and he asked for this song. And really, I have such amazing memories of being at that restaurant and everything that he created there, and the food that he served and his welcoming spirit for the musicians. I thought, well, this is our turn to serve him up something, a little dish from Newfoundland. It was good to see him making contact through Becky's Facebook page. So Brad, here you go, man. Come on, you good people, I'll sing you a song about the poor people, how they get along. They start in the spring and finish up in the fall, and when it's all over, they've nothing at all. And it's hard, hard times. You go out in the morning on a drift still, and it's over the side you will hear the line knell, and out flows the jigger and freeze with the cold. And as for the starting, all gone in the hole, and it's hard, hard times. Well, the fine side of fishing we'll have by and by. The fine side of fishing we'll have a goodbye. $7 for a large, $6.50 for a small. Take out your West Indian, you've nothing at all. And it's hard, hard times. When you've got some split and hung out for to dry, it'll take all your time for to brush off the flies. Keep off the maggots is more than you'll do. Then out comes the sun and they're all split in two. And it's hard, hard times. Comes the carpenter to build you a house. He will build it so snug you will scarce find a mouse. But the roof it will leak and the rain it will pour. The chimney will smoke and it's open the door. And it's hard, hard times. Then next comes the doctor, the worst of them all, saying what's been the matter with you all in the fall. He says he can cure you of all your disease. When the money's all gone, you can die if you please. And it's hard, hard times. So the best thing to do is to work with a will. When it's all over and you're hauled on the hill, you're hauled on the hill and put down in the cold. Well, you're still in your grave, but you're still in the hole. And it's hard, hard times. All right, so we're going to do this next song. It was officially a request, but the people who requested it didn't know what it was. This is a song. I'm not a big songwriter per se, but I have been trying to write this song for a couple of years. This song about the First World War in Newfoundland. And one of the things that happened for me early in this recent period of quarantining, I had that time, and I thought, if I don't finish this song now, I never will. And luckily, I did. I did finish this song. So the song, in Newfoundland, it was the First World War. It was sort of a big deal. It was a lot of people in Newfoundland saw the war as a chance to kind of assert Newfoundland's independence, but also its loyalty to the British Empire. And there was a very strong movement to try to raise a volunteer regiment in Newfoundland to send to the war. And there were many forms of persuasion that were used to try to get men to sign up. And one of them, and this was a practice that was also active in England, if a young woman saw a young man, of conscription age, and he didn't seem to be in the army, she would give him a white feather. And this was an insult. This was a sign of cowardice. And so the song is called "No White Feather," because I thought a lot about this notion of sort of these young men, these fishermen, from small outports in Newfoundland, kind of being convinced or coerced into heading off to this distant war, and what that experience would have been like. As it happens, it was a terrible experience. The Newfoundland Regiment suffered huge casualties, and in one particular battle in France, in Beaumont-Hamel, I think 80% of the regiment there that day was killed. It was terrible. And one reference in the song is to a tree called the Danger Tree, and the Danger Tree was a tree in the middle of this field because the men were sent out into this no man's land where they were mowed down. There was one tree in the middle of this field, and a lot of the men gravitated towards that tree in the hopes of finding some shelter. But of course, it was just a focal point for the German guns. So many Newfoundlanders died at this tree called the Danger Tree. And as it happens, my grandfather was part of the Newfoundland Regiment. He wasn't at that particular battle in France, but he was part of this force known as the First 500, the First 500 volunteers, also known as the Blue Puttees in Newfoundland. So here's my first shot at performing "No White Feather." Open your eyes now, sweet Annie, my dear. Kiss me goodbye, for the dawn it draws near. I've hauled up my boat, no white feather for me, for I'm off to fight with the Blue Puttees. How proudly we march through the streets of St. John's, our great coats a-flapping, crowds cheering us on. From their inlets and harbors these bold men had come, full 500 strong for to follow the drum. The boys up from Buren were hardy and strong. Doyle from Fermuse, always good for a song. And the fellas from White Bay could handle the sail, no matter the weather, in fog or in gale. Hard work on the water, hard work in the woods. Plenty of hard times these men understood. Hard cases from St. John's could drink through the night, and be up and ready to go at first light. move, our spirits had dimmed. We wondered when we'd see our loved ones again, and our hearts, they grew heavy when we heard the band. For the song was the banks of Newfoundland. Then came the order, to France we must go. We waited the hour for to face our foe. Then early this morn the dread whistle it blew. Every man he was ready, up the ladders we flew. Now there's poor Doyle, he's face down in the mud. Bill from Pooch Cove holds the brother he loved. Our boys, they were scattered like wrecks on the sea, and it's hard luck for me by the old danger tree. No more I'll sail in at the close of the day, to find my sweet Annie at the end of the bay. Like many poor boys from their inlets and coves, I'll never return to the island I love. All right, there you go, Newfoundland. All right, well, this is a fun moment for us. We had a bunch of requests for a variety of tunes, a lot of dance tunes, reels, and we were trying to think, well, could we put those three together, or would those two make a set together? And then we finally decided, we're going to play them all. We're just going to put them all together in one big set. And they're tunes that kind of come from kind of a long span of time. All the tunes kind of have different associations, different histories, and we know there's a bunch of people out there who are tune players, tune hounds, and we figured we're going to leave it to you to identify the tunes. So when the tune comes up, you jump for the comment box if you know what it is, and see if you can identify them. And the person who identifies all of the right tunes, all the tunes first, then we'll do something. We'll buy you a house. Anyway, good luck.
Good luck to me. I know you didn't ask for that last tune, but you would have if you had remembered the name.
All right. Well, I just realized we're going to have a complication in the competition rules because we have both YouTube and Facebook. So we're going to have to collate the results to see, when the answers came in. So it's a little fine print there. So we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. This is kind of like the third concert that we've done, and so if you've been to some of those earlier concerts and you've come back, well, thank you very much for that. If you're tuning in for the first time, delighted to have you here. We're really just so grateful to have this medium to be able to use now, and to be able to perform and to connect with so many friends, many old friends and fans who we haven't been in touch with for a long time. Thank you so much for all the support that you've been showing us in this recent period of time, in every form. From sending us great messages and supporting our music in other ways, and buying the CD. You'll see down at the bottom of the screen there's the information on our website. You can go to the website if you're interested in looking up some of the CDs, and also joining our email list, because that's also a great way for us to keep you up to date on whatever it is that's happening for us. I also just want to say we had a lot of people ordering our CDs recently, and there were a couple of moments where we had big stacks going, and if anything fell through the cracks, if you haven't seen a CD, I know it's also the case that there's been some funny stuff with the post office. Some people have written to us because there've been big delays in postage getting through.
Yes, or their CD took magnificent trips to get from one point to the other.
That's right. You may not be doing a lot of traveling right now, but your postage is getting around, it seems. So please let us know if there's been any problem with any order that you've had. We'd want to take care of that.
Okay, so we're gonna play our last tune, and this we were debating what the last one was. There were two big contenders, and I was out for a walk yesterday, and just a neighbor stopped and asked how I was how I was able to make music, how what was going on, how are we able to do what we do. And so I talked about these online concerts and said, well, we have a request concert coming up. And she said, will you play Evergreen? So that tipped the scale, and we will play Evergreen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to reading your messages and your comments.
Okay,
See you
take
next
care.
time. Bye now.